If you are in a place where it is appropriate, safe, and comfortable for you to do so, please close your eyes and begin to relax your body and mind as you take some slow, long, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. With every inhale, feel more light and peace entering the body and the mind. And with every exhale, feel like you're able to let go of all tension and anything in your mind that you do not want. Inhaling light and peace, and exhaling as you let go. We picture ourselves on top of a beautiful mountain in the center of a circular grove of trees. In the center of our circle, a bonfire blazes forth, lighting us and the grove up with a sacred golden light. We recognize that this is the light of perfect love and perfect trust, and it easily burns away everything that is not like itself, leaving us safe and serene. Into this sacred space, we invoke the presence of our Creator. To many of us, our Creator reveals themselves to be a father and mother, a God and goddess. Into this space, we also invite the presence of our teachers, our angels, our guides. We dedicate this time that we spend together to one another and to them, and we ask that we be guided and led as we walk upon the way, becoming happier, more successful, more prosperous, more healthy, more peaceful, and more loving people. Thank you very much, and if it's appropriate for you to do so, please join me out loud in saying the words, "Blessed be." I have a course in angel magic. It's a 6-month course, and in one of the lessons, it gives the 7 different qualities of the divine, and each of them are corresponding to a different angel. So the angel Michael corresponds to the divine principle of life. The angel Gabriel corresponds to the divine principle of soul. The Archangel Samael corresponds to the divine principle of spirit. The Archangel Raphael corresponds to the divine principle of intelligence. The Archangel Sachiel corresponds to the divine principle of truth. The Archangel Anael corresponds to the divine principle of love. The Archangel Cassiel corresponds to the principle of law. And the Archangel Uriel corresponds to the divine principle of presence. Those are different ways that you can experience what people call God, is through those qualities. In the Psalms, it's known as the name of God. The name of God are the qualities of God. So when we are starting to experience in our lives the desire to know the divine, we have a way to know the divine by contemplating the different qualities of the divine. And I have a whole lecture on the divine qualities as a whole, but I wanted to start to maybe look at each quality in turn. And so today, I would like to talk about the divine quality of spirit. And in that course, spirit is corresponding to the Archangel Samael and the planet Mars. And the reason why often the quality of spirit is seen that way is because the quality of spirit is that which cannot be destroyed, that which is unassailable, that which is always safe. Not only is always protected, but which is always protective. Spirit is indestructible because it is pure light. So just like you can take a machine gun and just shoot at a ray of light and it's not going to do a thing to it. And when you start to understand who you are in relationship to any of these qualities of the divine, then you start to benefit from taking on the qualities as your own true self, because that's truly who you are. And in this case, you truly are spirit. Now, it's true that you do have a body. You are in a body. We are all in bodies here. And it's true that bodies can be attacked, can decay, grow old, get sick. The issue with this world is that it's very seductive. And we really want to believe that our bodies are the most important part of who we are. And we are snowed by this world into thinking that our bodies are it, because the bodies have pain centers in them. So when something hurts, that's when we come back to, quote, reality. And so that's the trick that our egos have, is that they can convince us that the body is real because the body can experience pain. Spirit doesn't have pain centers. Spirit is that which cannot experience pain because it cannot be destroyed in any way. It cannot be harmed in any way like the body can be. So what we are confronted with as spiritual students is this dichotomy between our experiences as bodies and our experiences as spirit. Think in terms of how spirit operates. Spirit is omnipresent. It is everywhere. It is a substance. It is a substance like any other substance, except for the fact that it is so fine that our physical senses can't perceive it. Even our minds have a hard time perceiving spirit because it is so fine. And because it is so fine and so invisible, it's very easy to discount it. Not only is spirit indestructible and unassailable, but it is also the source of all that is. We get to a point in our development spiritually where we have to come to terms with the fact that our bodies are nothing more than the effects of our minds. Our bodies are nothing more than the densification of spirit. It's been said that matter is the densest form of spirit, and that spirit is the finest form of matter, and that everything is on a continuum that way. When we identify with the body, we are at the effects of the body. When we identify with spirit, we are at the effects of spirit. And the body is not creative, but spirit is. The body can't create anything. The body cannot create a thing. If it was creative, when you died, it would continue to live on and do things. But it can't. It's like a suit of clothes. So it's been postulated by many different cultures that the soul, which is how the spirit identifies itself, the soul is how spirit is extended uniquely, as a unique expression of spirit. But spirit as substance is what we're talking about today. So we have to come to the understanding that spirit is the cause of all that is. But our minds are capable of perceiving things in whatever ways that they want to. And so when we are involved in three-dimensional reality, living inside of a body, we are at the effects of the perception that our bodies command to us. So we say that, oh, I see that, I feel that, I taste that, I hear that. But in reality, you're just receiving data that those senses are reporting to you. And you believe that those data are true. That pain is real, that taste is real, that smell is real, that image is real. And you can see that spirit has a different vantage point because it's not restricted by those senses. It's not restricted at all by those senses. It can see things as they are. And so that's the greatest benefit of something like astral projection, is that you can leave the body and recognize that you don't cease to exist when you leave the body, but you are freed temporarily from the restrictions of those senses, so that you are no longer believing that what the body is reporting to you is real. You can realize that there is much more available to you than simply what the body can perceive. And then when you go back into the body, then you have a new understanding, and then also a new appreciation for your senses, because you recognize what they are there for. It's for you to enjoy your experience here, for you to have a sensual experience here, but recognizing that that sensual experience is not the totality of your truth. That's not the totality of your life. In fact, your life is eternal, just like spirit. You cannot be destroyed. There is absolutely nothing that can threaten you. That's the beauty of something like astral projection or a near-death experience, etc., is that you recognize that the body is a suit of clothes. It's a wonderful vehicle for you to have experiences and relationships and communication between one another here, but that it's not the totality of who you are. The totality of who you are is spirit. And remember again that spirit is that which cannot be harmed, that cannot be destroyed. And so as you learn to identify with that divine quality of spirit, you begin to realize that because, like I said earlier, your mind starts to generate experiences for you based on perceptions, that you start to perceive things through your body more in alignment with how spirit perceives, rather than just making things up based on sensory data that you're receiving. And then when you can allow that to happen, then spirit can work through your body to start to do for you and through you that which needs to be done for your good and for the good of everybody that you come in contact with, and is using your body in a new way. Using your body not as a hunk of flesh that is just giving you sensory data that you're reacting to, but instead it's using your body as a device through which it can communicate its message. And spirit's message is always the message of peace, and always the message of love, always the message of healing, always the message of unity and connection. People get very religious about their idea of what spirit is. We have to be very clear that spirit's not religious. Spirit doesn't have a religion. Religion is good for us when it can bind our minds to, because that's what religion means. It's that which binds. It means to bind back. So if religion is used to bind your mind to spirit, then it can be a very good thing. But most people don't use religion to bind their minds to spirit. They use religion to bind their minds to dogma. And dogma is not of spirit. Dogma is of the ego. Look at occultism. Occult means hidden. The true occult wisdom is hidden because it's so simple. It's hidden in the place that you don't think to look for it. It's so simple. In fact, that's how true occult masters keep things secret, is by putting them in plain sight, making them look as though it's just every day. And when people are looking for occult wisdom, they look for the complexities in life. They look for that which is very complex. And that's another trick. That's another trick of many of the ancients to keep things hidden, is because they know people are going to look to the complex, and so they keep the true secrets hidden in plain sight. So the occult secret here of spirit is that everything that spirit sees and is peaceful. And everything that is not of spirit is a shadowing of peace. One of the other qualities of the divine is that of love. If you have an unloving experience, you know it didn't come from spirit. It came from something else. And the something else can't really exist. So that's the occult secret there, is only spirit exists and anything else doesn't exist. But we can believe it does. We can have experiences that it does exist, that otherness does exist. Why? Because we are thinking beings. And we can use our minds to create experiences for ourselves. And we can use our minds in any way that we desire. But like we said, if the way that you use your mind is to react to sensory input that your body gives you, then you are thinking about things which don't really exist. You just are thinking about things that exist within that illusion that your eyes are reporting to you or that your taste buds are reporting to you, etc. And again, that doesn't mean that those things are bad. It doesn't mean that your body's bad or wrong. It's just that you're not using your body for its ultimate purpose, which is a vehicle for spirit to communicate to other souls on the earth. Right? That's its highest function, is to be used by spirit to communicate to other souls on the earth. But when we have our bodies and we believe that we are our bodies and that these are my eyes and these are my ears and this is me, then we really are stuck here because we are cut off from the spirit, at least temporarily, because our minds are being used in a way that they aren't intended to be used for, and that is to react to sensory data that is faulty. You know that's true. You know that your eyes aren't perfect. You know that even if they were perfect, that they can only see a certain amount of data in front of you. They can't see the whole thing. But the spirit doesn't have the limitations of sensory input. So the spirit can use your sensory input to help you and to help the world if you give your mind over to that higher functioning in your own experience of who you are as a spirit. When you start to recognize, I am spirit, I'm not a body, I am spirit, then you become cognizant of the fact that you're free. You're not restricted by your body. You're not imprisoned here. But then you have to give up a lot of your favorite things, your favorite perceptions. Because if you can't say, I want to be free and I want to see things as spirit sees things, except I don't want to stop believing that I live in this time, in this space, in this personality, in this body with these people. Do you see? You can't have it both ways. Instead, what we learn how to do is say, I am spirit, and I'm having an experience here in this three-dimensional reality where it appears that I'm living in this time, in this body, in this place, with these people. But in reality, I'm living in a much greater universe. If you just assume that what you're looking at through your physical senses, what you're perceiving with your physical senses is faulty at best, if you just assume that, then what you're giving yourself an opportunity to have is an experience of spirit showing you something else. Now, you may not like to believe that what you're seeing is an illusion, but you know that's true if you think about it rationally. Yeah, that may be a cell phone in front of you. That may not be the illusion of a cell phone. You might really be correct. That actually is a cell phone. But you believe you understand what that cell phone means. You believe that you understand what that cell phone is used for. You believe you understand how that cell phone works. But that's just only based on the story about cell phones that you've been taught. But if spirit gets a hold of that cell phone, it'll say, yeah, but you don't understand what a cell phone can be for. You think it's there to text somebody. And I say that it's there to spread love. You say that's there for me to be able to give and receive phone calls. And I say that cell phone is simply there to communicate joy. Do you see that your understanding of things may, in objective reality, jive with the truth, but you don't understand the purpose of the things because all you know is what those things are for based on what you've been taught. You think you know what your hand is for. You think you know what a table is for. You think you know what a lamp is for. And Spirit says, yeah, but you don't understand what anything is for. You don't understand what any of those things can be if you let me have them. If you let the ego have them, then they're going to be the same old. And you're just going to have Groundhog Day. But if you let me have them, Spirit says, if you let me perceive through you, you're going to understand that none of this means anything the way you think it does. Because my message here, Spirit speaking, is that nothing can harm you. My message is that nothing can assail you. My message is that you're safe. And my message is that everybody that you encounter is safe and unassailable, and that there's nothing to fear. And that's very different than the world that we perceive. Look at the world. It's not okay. Look at the horrible things that have always been happening in this world. It's not just now. It's always been happening in this world. Even nature, as lovely as it is awful. Nothing can exist without something else dying. And every life as a body is constantly ready to die. You're born and then you start dying immediately. Well, Spirit says that's not the truth. That's not the truth. And if you start to perceive things as I perceive them, you're going to see that this world is a lot different than you think it is. It's not the evil world that you think it is. It's a very different world. But you'll never be able to see that if you only look with your physical senses. And so Spirit's job is to show you that not only is the world not the way you think it is, but that it's fabulous and that it's safe and that you're safe and that everybody's safe and nothing and no one can be harmed. It's a very different perception of the world than the one that we see. And it's worth contemplating. Now, if you're stuck in some situation where you feel very vulnerable or you feel very unsafe, that's the time to call on that divine quality called Spirit, because Spirit knows something that you don't know. And you can just call on that divine quality of Spirit. And you can call it out by the angel name if you want to. Samael, I want you to show me the truth about this situation. I want you to see this for me. I want you to show me what you see rather than what I think I'm seeing here. Because I'm scared, I'm vulnerable, I'm feeling attacked. And Samael can say, okay, you're not attacked, you're not vulnerable, you're not a body, you are free, you are an invincible spirit. You are invincible, unassailable, eternal and immortal. And let me show you how that looks. Boy, things start to change in your life when you work like that. So we're going to go through each of these qualities of Spirit, and you can learn how to pivot your mind when you're having an experience in the world to a quality of Spirit that can address that problem. And for those of you that are going through fearful experiences of being attacked or vulnerable, this is the quality of Spirit that you need to consider and to ask to show you a new reality. You can ask Spirit to come in and say, this is the truth here. But then you have to also be willing to give up your own interpretation, because you can't do both. You can't say, no, I want to see myself as vulnerable, but not that vulnerable. That doesn't work. I want to keep all of my illusion except for this little part, okay? That's like giving Samael a shopping list. It doesn't work like that. You don't give Samael a shopping list. You say, Samael, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I know you do. And if Samael doesn't work for you, then just call on the quality of Infinite Spirit. Infinite Spirit, I know you can see this. I know that you know what this is. I can't. I'm willing to give up my perception completely in favor of yours. Please show me. That's how it works. It's all or nothing. But then when you do that, then you start to see things change and you start to see things differently. And you're no longer afraid like you were. You're no longer vulnerable like you were. You're no longer feeling attacked like you were. You are no longer feeling unfairly treated like you were. And you start to realize, I'm invincible. I am something. I am a force to be reckoned with. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be.